Okay, we're doing this. Hello, welcome to a new video. I just wanted to say it has been a while, but I feel like I'm saying this every time, so I will stop that now. But yeah, the last 2 weeks have been crazy, and I'm glad I'm finding a few minutes now to give you all an update on the progress on Tresor One and what I'm currently doing and dealing with and the problems and stuff. So for people interested in Tresor One, this will be an interesting one. And for people interested in building their own side projects, I think this might give you a good outlook once you past these first 10, 20, 100 users and go to the thousands. You will probably get some scaling pains that I experience right now when you do this alone. So this might be of interest for you as well. For everyone that is new on the channel, welcome. The little MRR figure that you see on the thumbnail is called monthly recurring revenue. That is basically the revenue that I can expect every month from the subscribers of the product. And we are currently at 828 euros. Normally I give you a screen share, show you the Stripe dashboard, show you the Google Analytics and everything. But today, if you follow me on Twitter, you know that I'm recording this on the iPad Pro. I think it has better video quality, and I'm trying to, get my setup a little bit more slimmer. So I'm trying this on the iPad Pro, but I can't screen share here. So I will give you the stats and the number updates verbally today. I might publish some screenshots on Twitter still, if you're interested in that. So yeah, let's go over the numbers first, right? So monthly recurring revenues at 828 euros, 20% up from the previous period. It's flattening out a bit because, as I mentioned a couple times already, the initial rise of subscribers when it was like 300%, this was because I gave out discounts for 3 months, and those discounts are like expiring now. So we have a lot of people that whose subscription cancels automatically, or no, it doesn't cancel automatically. They canceled when they signed up before, so they don't have to pay, and they probably tried it out 3 months, and we will see how many of them come back now. So the MRR figure is a little bit stagnant. So the growth was like this, now it's more this. It's still growing, but definitely slower than before. What's interesting is how much the payout is differentiated. So the revenue, how much of a difference there is between monthly recurring revenue and the revenue. Because I also offer the lifetime deal, so you can buy basically without a subscription for 180 euros roughly, and a lot of people are doing that, which pumps up the revenue per month quite a lot. So last month we had a monthly recurring revenue of 700, something like this, and we had a payout or a revenue of 1,200. And this month already we are at like a little bit over half of the month, and the payout is already at 1,800 euros. Which means we will cross 2,000 pretty sure, which is absolutely fantastic, and it makes it more than double the monthly recurring revenue. I don't know what to make of this for now. I'm not sure if this is a good or bad development, but it's very interesting for sure, and I'll keep an eye on it. But I will also keep the lifetime deal because I think having people commit to, the bigger payout and basically 3 years worth of subscription gives also me a lot of faith in the product and shows me that people believe in the product and believe in a long-term value for them. So that's fantastic. Or they just want to support the product and its development, which is also a good reason to do that. Anyways, these were the numbers for at least the financial numbers. From a monthly active users perspective, we had last month 1,200 and we are now at 1,100. So almost reached last month's level at a little bit over half of the month. That's good. I think we will set another record here. Same with page views. We are at 120,000 page views for the last 4 weeks. And this is like a 74% increase. The last month we had, I think, 90,000, and pretty sure we will beat that this month too. We are at 2,500 500 signups and about 200 signups a week, or in the last 7 days, over 200 signups. So everything's growing. Everything seems to be healthy and going into the right direction, which is absolutely fantastic. And I want to thank all the users and enthusiasts and supporters that recommend the product to their friends and family and in groups to like-minded people and investors, because this helps a lot. Getting more users and people, of course, it puts me into these growing pains that I will get to in a second, but it also helps to make the product sustainable. It brings in revenue, it brings in commitment, it brings in accountability and experience. So the more users, the better, and the more this can be a sustainable thing that stands on its own feet and is not requiring me to basically use my free time or my private funds to make this successful or to make it happen. So that's good. Thanks a lot and appreciate it. Continue like this. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, these were the numbers. Let's get into the actual topic of this video, and these are the scaling pains. So basically yesterday when I started the product, there was like 20 users, and I built the product with my own portfolio in mind. These were like, I invested since 3 years, so 3 years worth of historical data. I have like 30 holdings in my portfolios. So it's okay, it's I don't know if it's a large, or it's definitely not a large portfolio, but it's also not the smallest one. And everything was working fine with that. But now there is a lot more to come. There are big portfolios coming in, like users that invest since the 90s, have thousands of activities and transactions. This puts a lot of systems to the limits currently, because I simply, haven't expected that kind of growth that fast, but also underestimated the amount of data that needs to happen here. So I use cloud functions and stuff like this in the background. They are hitting the execution limits. They are hitting the payload limits. Database storage hitting the limit because I have so much data, millions of records for securities. The database connections, because cloud functions and database connections do not work that well together. So I'm hitting the limits there. I'm hitting limits on various software as a service products. So doesn't matter if it's email or database or whatever. I basically have to upgrade into the next tier, which is fine. It costs. It just costs money. It still hurts, but it's necessary and it's okay. Because money is not the biggest problem right now. The biggest problem is time. And for some of these problems, it will not work that I just throw money at them. I have to solve them with a rewrite, re-architecture, rethinking of how data flows and how the scaling works. And this is the stuff that I'm currently working on, because this is the stuff that pains, because I have to put a lot more time and under a lot of pressure. Since stuff is breaking on production every now and then. And we had this a week ago, I think, where we did a new release that was necessary, underlying architecture change to get ready for native apps, so more clients than just the web app. And it definitely broke stuff on production, not because something was wrong, but because calculations went from the client to the backend, etc. Cloud functions were not able to handle it. And there was too much data flowing around. We had timeouts everywhere. And when stuff breaks and you have thousands of users, it's not like you get 1 or 2 messages. You get a ton of messages. I get 50 to 100 messages if the service breaks for 15 minutes during the day, which at some point on some level this is fantastic, but on the other it creates so much pressure, especially when I'm like in the middle of a meeting during my day job and or I have the kid here. I cannot just drop everything and go for it. Not at all. Like, I still have higher priority stuff, but for me personally it's very, very hard, because normally I just fix that stuff. I fix it, whatever. A Sunday, I'm on the beach, I get the laptop or the iPad out and I fix it, or I call someone. I'm somewhere or meeting with friends. I normally get to the laptop and fix that stuff. So I have to get that under control for myself, for my own sanity. I know that this kind of pressure is not healthy for maintaining this side project, maintaining this as a main project maybe, and building this up. I have to function as long as I don't have a bigger team that can take care of it. And I need to say no sometimes. I fix it tomorrow. Broke it today, we'll fix it tomorrow. At the end of the day, the users will not, it will not be that big of a deal breaker for them if something doesn't work today. Software is not perfect. The people behind it are not perfect. And I should get used to this, or, not used to breaking stuff, but I should be able to stay more calm when stuff breaks on production. Maybe even ignore the messages, acknowledge that I got them, maybe post in the community, hey, I know there is a problem, I will get to it ASAP, and everyone knows that I'm on it. And then ignore the messages, because they create just more pressure. And at that point, when it was like last week, when it was breaking, I was basically fixing it as fast as possible while answering everyone that wrote me. Not a good idea. Don't do that. Focus on the problem itself. And maybe sometimes just wait a little bit and don't go crazy. Apologize afterwards. It goes a long way, because at the end we have to function. Otherwise nothing will function in this. So I'm doing that right now. Cheers. Staying a little bit more calm and stay fucking calm. I try to. I will do that, and I'm getting better at this for sure. So what else can I do to mitigate these scaling pains? I told you already. Yeah, I should be careful that I not reach my personal limits. Otherwise, it's not sustainable before I have a team or something taking care of it. If it grows to that level that I can get a team on it. And transparency, showing people here on Twitter what I'm up to, what are the problems, writing in the community, so people just know that something is up. They can, stop worrying about, hey, why isn't this working, clicking around, and just say, okay, I will check back later or check back tomorrow. So the transparency stuff is pretty important. And then what I mentioned, what I'm doing right now, redo the architecture, redo the loading patterns, the data handling, etc. So I'm working on a bigger release right now, and that will solve a lot of these problems. It completely redoes how the data is handled, and I think this gets Tresor One ready for the next growth stage. But there will be more things that break. There will be more systems coming to the limits. It's just inevitable. It's a part of learning, part of product building, and it will happen. Go fast and break stuff. Move fast and break stuff. This is, the motto, and it will break. That's for sure. The question is how to handle it. And if I break because this breaks, then it's not even worth it doing it. So definitely a good learning. What I also do is get the users involved. So huge thank you to the current community that is inside there, that helps other users out. If someone has a problem, they are trying to figure it out, they're helping them. There are some people that every day help other people, and this is such a huge help. Thank you for everyone that is active in the community, because it just lifts off so much support burden for me. I go in sometimes and I read, I try to follow up on the private messages that I get, or if people tag me, that I have to, take care of it. But I can, the little free time that I can put in, I can focus on improving the product, solving, fixing bugs and stuff like this, instead of answering questions like the same question 50 times. This will then get handled through the community, which is fantastic. The import that I open sourced right from the beginning, it's basically developed by the community now. We have a few people like David and some others that, Carsten, amazing people that are basically triaging issues, reviewing pull requests, writing tests, really pushing that the import goes better. And there I basically don't write a single line of code, and I can take it and put it into the next release of Tresor One. So also that a huge help, and absolutely fantastic. I'm trying to give back as much as possible through the tools that I build and the data that I can release to people. Definitely really appreciate it. The data tool that I just released, I mentioned this on Twitter. So basically, security data, it's not like I don't have a data source where this is awesome, right? I get my security data, and it's hit and miss. There is a industry for the company in there. There might be a good website, maybe not. The country that it operates in. So I have this for some, I don't have this for other securities, especially ETFs. They are in multiple. Of course, they are constructed for diversity in specific industries or specific countries. So it's very hard to find data automated on that. And previously, what happened was, it's the MVP style. It's fine. It's a manual process. People write me, hey, please fix that and that. I go into the database and fix the data. But for 15,000 securities that we have now in the database, how is this scalable anymore? I can't do it. So what I did is I built a tool where people basically see the securities and can suggest edits. So they go in, they say, okay, I fixed the industry here, I fixed the country here, I fixed the website and the logo, suggest. And then I get a list of all the suggestions, and I can look through it, if it's correct, like that no one puts spam in or whatever. But I don't know all the securities, of course, but I just look if it makes sense, if it goes from no industry to an industry that makes sense, or the country is changed or whatever. I look at real quick if it makes sense, but I do accept, decline, accept. So it's just a few clicks. I sit down with a glass of wine and 30 minutes of time, and I can go through hundreds of suggestions. And this makes the securities and the data better for everyone, for all the users. So if one user, to everyone that does this in the beta, I already got hundreds of suggestions in the beta phase currently, which is production data. So these suggestions already made the data better for every user in the community. Every user of Tresor One. And that is amazing. That is simply amazing. And having these kind of engaged users is the support that I need to be able to do this as a one-man show. And now with the small team, they are slowly getting into it. But most of the time I'm still alone doing this, and the community that is behind it is the help that I need. Yeah. So this is fantastic, and I'm trying to build more tools and possibilities so engaged users can participate even more if they want to. So this is what I do. I basically try to build tools that make users help other users or help me out. This is basically, crowdsourcing and growing the team without actually going and finding one person to do that and one person to do that. This is the power of open source. This is the power of a community, of an engaged user base. And thinking back 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago, when I was unsure if I should even create a community space and have them engaged, or versus handling every user, every customer, independent, like a single customer per time. This is insane. It's so much better now, and I will do a separate video about the community. I will do a review how getting the community up with circle.so and having people in there. If you don't have engaged people, it becomes a dead space, it becomes an empty space, a graveyard. Nobody, a forum, nobody will be active. And I will do a review how the first month or the first 2 months went with our Tresor One community. It's very, very interesting. And I will also show some stats like engagement and stuff. They're nice analytics in that tool. So this will be the next video. I hope this was insightful. I hope it helped a little bit on the pains that I have currently, the challenges that I'm facing, and the current state of Tresor One. Again, I'm building almost every day, every night. I'm building on the product, and keep hustling. Let's see where it goes. I'm happy with the growth. I'm happy with every one of you supporting and being with me on this journey. Let's see where it goes. See you in the next one. Have a good one.